you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code ATNIGHT to get 5% off your order. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus Tonight, your weekly Vanguard podcast. I'm Atlas.
Matt is sick. I'm Root Beer, and I have a bowl of Magic Spoon cereal because I found it at Target, not a sponsor.
I mean, maybe? Business daddy? Maybe? Huh? Because we like to buy cards and food and rent and stuff. That's cool. But we're doing a set review of the very fittingly named D Lyrical Booster 3 Summertime Memories, and we're recording this the last day of August as a heat wave has just settled in on the state of California. So it will be close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 weeks.
And it's actually gotten a bit warmer up here, so the heat wave might actually make it over to us for once.
Fuck you. It's always I saw a picture of California from space, and there's no clouds
except over San Francisco.
Not even that. It's just dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole 80 degrees on Monday.
Okay, it's 100 degrees right now at 7 p.m. So. Yeah, okay, whatever. Those who haven't heard us do this before, we go through the highest rarity all the way down to the double R's, say the effects, comment on them, and then any commons or rares that interest us. This being the Lyrical Monasterio set, I am letting you take the reins here, so please.
Yeah, pretty much.
Have at it, sir.
It's just me and Matt that are interested in it. Anyways. I'm going to start with Iridescent Palette Hazoret. So if you see me looking off screen, that's just because I have this pulled up on my second monitor, aka my tablet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is for you YouTube people. You got something to look at.
Yeah. So this has act once per turn, counterblast 1. Choose up to 5 normal unit rear guards. Until end of turn, they get power plus 2,000. At the end of battle, this attack the Vanguard, draw a card, put this unit on the bottom of your deck. If you chose 3 or more rear guard, this unit gets power plus 10,000 until end of turn.
Okay. So everything replaces itself?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is basically a Spike Brothers card, but it's a bunny girl.
Yeah.
Also, I guess Chochos were a thing. Everyone thought of Spike Brothers first.
That's right, I forgot about Chochos.
I think everyone forgot about Chochos because V-Tira was just a bounce-based card after they made bouncing not the gimmick for Bermuda, so that was just really random. But yes, I think more people thought about Spike Brothers for this card.
Yeah, I mean, Spike Brothers have been a full-fledged clan for ever. So
I mean, so Bermuda.
Bermuda
are about as old as Spikes.
I think so. I more mean Chochos haven't been around as long as Spikes. So of course you'd think of it. I don't know.
True.
I mean the sandwich while we're doing this, because this is...
We are very professional.
Yep.
But, I mean, the ability itself is fine. So the thing with this is that putting cards to the bottom of the deck is part of the effect and not a cost. So you can play this with old, ghost cards for Felty Rosa, because a lot of them put themselves into the deck too.
That's pretty cool.
So you can kind of double dip with that, where they're going to go away anyways, and you can just draw a card. And I don't know if we'll get to it, but there are some other cards designed for Hazoret that, put themselves into the deck as well, and also have benefits for that. So, the Ghost cards just put themselves back so that you can drive check them with Felty Rosa, but later on, some of the Hazoret support cards will, gain benefits for going back in the deck, so those cards can also, double dip and draw a card. I can't remember. Cool. Yeah, I can't remember if they ever gave anything that attacks from the back row or restands to take advantage of the. Well, actually, no, nothing would restand because they all go to the bottom of the deck. So yeah, I'm not sure if this can make more than 3 attacks because I can't remember if they put any back row attackers for this archetype, but I do like it. It's a cool gimmick. I didn't really like Chochos when they came out because it was so different from what Bermuda was doing at that time, but Lyrical doesn't have as much of a set identity, so I'm kind of okay with this just being Spike Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if all of the support exists to really make this into like a full-fledged Spike Brothers combo deck just yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're very professional. I know every card in this set, clearly. But also, I still hate lyrical art. Like, this could have been a sports-themed idol, just saying. Everyone immediately drew the connection to Spike Brothers. We could have had, like, a sporty athletic idol instead of just Bunny Girl.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't have anything to say about this kind of stuff. This isn't really my...
I made a 14-minute long video harping about this. I'm not going into it any further.
Continue.
Am I just reading all of these, or are we switching off?
No, I guess I should. I guess I should. Hang on, something's wrong. Can you just keep going?
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So this is Grimoire Etoile Lutetia. So auto Vanguard Circle, when you play a normal order this turn, it gets power plus 5,000, and then auto on Vanguard once per turn. When it attacks a Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, perform all of the following according to the number of cursed play cards in your soul. So if you have 2 or more, you draw a card, and this unit gets power plus 5,000. If you get 4 or more, at the end of the battle, you can discard a card, stand it, and it gets drive -1. So this is about the same level as like other restanders in D format. So this is very similar to Fortia, where you need to have that requirement of the 4 orders in your soul, and then it gains 5k for when you play an order. So it's about the same, like, power-wise. Actually, you can get up to 10k with her own, like, 2 curse play orders. And then let me see if I can go and find the play orders for you guys. That's the cannonball. Thank God for editing.
Yeah, exactly.
I vaguely remember the name of the orders. I just can't find them.
Excuse me.
Oh, one of them's a blitz order.
Oh,
that's why I'm having problems with this. So one of them's a blitz order. So that one is Anathema Bitter Twinkle. Is it Curse? And the other one was Curse Sugar Sparkle. Okay. So yeah. So one of the curse plays is a blitz order. So that one's Anathema Bitter Twinkle. I don't know if Atlas is gonna bother looking for. But you play it when you have Lutetia as your Vanguard, so you can put it in your soul, choose one of your units, it gets power plus 15,000, and if you have 4 or more curse plays, you can draw a card. And then the other play is a normal order, so that one is same thing, you can only play it if you have Vanguard with Lutetia, and then you can put it into your soul and soul charge 1, choose up to 1 card from your soul, grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, call it, and it gets power plus 5,000. So one of them kind of helps you build the board. The other one is a blitz order that's like defensive. I did not actually realize that one of them was a blitz order when I first saw it. So that's going to be interesting. So I was a little concerned with how this deck was going to get orders into the soul, because only the grade 1 in the ride line searches out any of your orders. And then, you can only play the 1 order per turn. So I was a little concerned with, like, how are you going to get that 4? But now, knowing that the other one is a blitz order, meaning you can play 1 on your turn, 1 on your opponent's turn, and then, like, if you manage to keep that up, riding up to your grade 3 turn, you should be able to get the restand quickly.
Okay.
And the orders are both grade 1s, so
you can play them early.
Yeah. So that one seems fine. This one only got revealed on Tuesday, so no one has really, like, done too much thinking about it yet.
Highest Dreamer Leafla, or the one that you were just talking about?
No, the one I was talking about with, like, the play orders.
The one after it, Highest Dreamer Leafla. Grade 3. So act on Van, Soul Blast 1, and all of your rear guards, grade 2 or greater rear guards, get boost until end of turn. And then on Vanguard, at the end of the battle that it attacked, if your back row has 3 or more grade 2 or greater rear guards, you can counterblast 1, choose 1 each of your front row and back row rear guards, and return them to your hand, bounce them. If you return 2 units, call up to 1 grade 3 or greater from your hand and call it to rear. So you can bounce stuff and then recall it.
See, this is interesting, because now I have to try and think of how to make a deck with, like, no grade 1s in it, except for perfect guards and the ride line.
Mm-hmm. It's a little awkward. I mean, like, at least for the
ride line,
honestly, you can just do the...
Like, ride line is fine. It's just, like, kind of interesting that, like, aside from the PGs, like, this deck probably just doesn't play any grade 1s.
Mm-hmm.
because there's no real benefit to it, and I don't think they had anything that increases their grade.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this card is like fine. I like it. It bounces stuff to hand. I've been wanting that
for a while.
Mm-hmm. I think this grade restriction is to just try and make it different from Kyrie, so that the cards themselves are more restricted. So Kyrie can't as easily like do her thing.
I see.
Although I think you can still play some of the support cards meant for this in Kyrie. I'm experimenting with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do like this card. The only thing is like none of the cards themselves gain power. I think they're working off the fact that since you're going to be playing all grade 2 or greater rear guards anyways, they're just going to have like higher base power in your columns than if you had like a grade 1, grade 2 like standard.
Yeah, and they're like, that'll be enough.
Mm-hmm.
We swear. hope nothing goes wrong. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know.
You are going to have to like figure out a ratio between grades like 2 and 3 because Lilfa only calls grade 3 cards, which is a little bit awkward.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're gonna have to like figure out like what grade 3s to play in the deck. There are like a few good ones that are kind of generic, you know. And obviously you can also just play Melty because I don't think the deck is super counterblast heavy aside from like the counterblast one to bounce something.
That's good. They have so many like options in the clan. In Lyrical.
Yes, we do. Well, because like Lyrical is one nation that has to do the job of 5.
True. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, but it does lead to some unintentional synergies, like the ghost cards having some synergy with Hazoret, Lilfa and Kyrie having like overlapping play styles, so you can play both of those cards together. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was my biggest complaint with this set, was that like because they're all new ride lines, a lot of the older cards don't feel as useful. Unfortunately, doesn't really go the other way around, where like a lot of the older cards that you needed for like the old ride lines aren't compatible with a lot of the new cards in the set. But I am glad that at least these new ride lines can take advantage of cards that were released in previous sets. Even like Lutetia, because you need to have like 4 curse plays as quickly as you can. Like there are some older cards that.
Let's see what was next. Passionate Devotee. Shredding?
Yep. And now we're just going to interrupt your boss units for a support card for Lilfa.
Yep, because that's how life works.
Yeah. When it's placed on rearguard circle from your hand, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Lilfa in her name, it gets 5k, and if it was placed during the main phase, you can Soul Blast 2 and draw a card.
Okay.
I mean, solid. Like,
yeah.
It's an 18k beater, and it you can just draw a card, and also because Lilfa is just playing all grade 2s and 3s, most likely you're going to have like 28k column at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Soul Blast 2 is a lot though. Lilfa has to Soul Blast for the boost ability as well, so Soul might be a problem. You're going to have to like look at ways to keep your Soul topped off.
Yeah, I feel like just in general, trying to get Soul for your whatever deck you are just isn't as easy as it was in like G or even V, because you still had like so many. They were just so more flippant with. There
is a ghost card that puts itself into Soul, and it's a grade 3 so that like gives something else 5k. So that one might be worth looking at.
That is nice. Yeah. Also, this looks way cooler than it should for such a mundane effect.
Yeah. I mean, it's a triple R. It's like a support card.
That's true. Let's see what's next. We got Fondant Police Megiel, grade 3 with 13k. Act on Van once per turn. You can counterblast 2, so this better be good. Reveal the top card of your deck and perform one of the following effects according to the type. If it's a normal unit, put the card into your hand. Choose a card from your drop and call its rear, and the called unit
gets a crit.
And then if it's a trigger unit, you countercharge 1, so it turns out to be counterblast 1 total. Choose a card from your drop, call it to rear. Return the reveal card to its original spot.
So you like Great Nature?
Yeah, that pretty much is Great Nature. That's
yeah. So I think their logic with the counterblast 2 is that if it's a normal unit, you do go +2 because you draw a card and call something from drop. So
Yeah.
I think their logic is that like each unit that you gain is going to be a counterblast. And then if it's trigger unit, obviously you don't keep the card, you just put it back on top. So it's basically OTT stacking cards.
Yeah.
And then you still get to call something from drop, although it doesn't get the crit in that case. I think they're just assuming you're going to put a critical trigger on top. But you probably are.
I mean, you don't really, like, depending what the reveal thing is, like, it's not like you can then manipulate it afterward. It's not like you go 2, then put one on top, one up, or I don't know.
But yeah, it seems like they're going for the idea that you're going to get a similar benefit either way. So if it's a normal unit, then you're getting 2 cards, and they think that's worth 2 counterblast, and the called thing gets a crit, so it's equivalent to getting a trigger, although you are missing the power. And if you get the trigger, then since you're not gaining the card, you get one of the counterblasts back, and then you still call something from drop. It doesn't get the critical anymore, but you have that trigger on top to kind of make up for it.
Yeah, in the case of the normal unit, at least that gets you one step closer to a trigger.
Yeah. So, but again, the thing you called gets like crit +1, so
right.
It's similar to having a trigger anyways. So I like this card, you know, compared to some of the like great nature stuff that we've had in the past. Both of them are, it kind of looks like a lottery, but in effect, both of these skills basically do the same thing.
I find it funny that she's holding a panda.
Yeah, that just seems to be her thing, is she's panda themed.
Yeah, well, no, just because it's also like gets compared to Great Nature themed. I don't know. One major thing for Great Nature in general is that we don't really have something that gives itself crits. You have to either rely on triggers, or there's like a 7K that has to be boosted by something that's 20K or greater, which is like gross. Yeah. Or you can run that not rotting usurp dragon, but the one where it's like when you play an order, it calls itself from drop, and then you can give it a crit for the turn, and it's like so awkward and clunky. Like so I feel like that's on purpose, whereas this just has it baked in.
Yeah, like this part, like the lottery aspect does not actually feel like a very relevant part of the skill, because like no matter what you hit, you essentially have the same play.
Which is get something on board from the drop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this how we get Atlas to play a lyrical deck? Is to just make it into Great Nature?
That might be a way to do it. Because I don't necessarily play Great Nature because they're animals. Like, I just play them because I like the I don't really know what to say at this point.
Yeah, but did you like the lottery play style?
Not really, no. I really didn't. I skipped that for most of V, actually.
Yes. Okay.
Make a trend.
Now, a card that just awakens my primal hatred because it has a friggin' hashtag in the name.
Hashtag make a trend. Kyoka. Oh god, that is the worst.
Kill it.
Oh yeah, no.
With fire.
I was at work today, and then someone used hashtag to identify that symbol. I'm like, pound sign, number sign. Now we're on hashtag. Fuck me. All right.
It's a pound symbol. But yeah.
Yeah. So, make a trend Kyoka, grade 3, 13K. Act on Van once per turn. You can Soul Blast. Choose a grade 1 to 3. Declare it. Look at top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 with the declared grade and call it to rare. Or choose up to 1 magazine, which we'll get to in a second. From among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. So you either get the guy or you get the magazine.
Yep.
And then on Vanguard, continuous during your turn, if you play a magazine, all of your front rows get plus 5K.
This card seems really powerful. Also, we should read the magazine because that's extremely relevant for what this deck does.
Yes. Pulling that up. What is that? Lyrical Shooting Stars?
Yes, I believe this is the only magazine so far.
So far. It's weird that it's Lyrical _Shooting Star and then a big capital S on the end. I'm randomly thinking of Smash Mouth for whatever reason. Play that. So it's an order, normal order. Play this if you have Vanguard with Kyoka in the name. Perform all of the following according to the number of your units. If you have 2 or more grade 1 units, draw 2 cards, discard something. If you have 2 or more, you choose one of your units and it gets plus 10. And then if you have 2 or more grade 3, you countercharge 1.
So I don't think this deck gets too much benefit from like playing a bunch of grade 3s, and also it doesn't count. So far, it doesn't counterblast very much because Kyoko's a Soul Blast. But yeah, most likely you're gonna get to like draw 2, discard 1, and like give something 10k power, which is already like pretty big. And then she's also giving everything 5k if you played the magazine that turn. And you can just like +1 off of like her Soul Blast ability calling something. And aside from needing the magazine, this is like completely generic. So if this is all they ever make for this archetype, I think Kyoka is still insane just because her ability is so generic. You can just splash any good card into her deck.
It is pretty generic, where like it doesn't. You don't need like something with the magazine in the name, or need Kyoka in the name. Just the number. That's it.
Yeah, it's just like what grades you have. So yeah, I think this is insane. Out of all of the boss units we've seen so far, this is the one where I easily the most flexible. You just make a good stuff pile, and then this card can just work with it. Like, the other ones can kind of do that. That is one of the things I like about the set, is a lot of the cards are, like, fairly generic and can kind of work with anything, but I think out of all of them, this one is the most just like, yeah, just, like, make a board and call and gain a bunch of power, and then because the main ability doesn't counterblast in any way, you can just play good cards like Melty that get you card advantage. So yeah, I think Kyoka is just insane.
That's kind of what we wanted when it came to standard, where like you had things that were just generic enough where you can like mix things together without it being too crazy. This seems like a step in that direction.
And honestly, like the plus 5k for playing a magazine is not even strictly necessary once you have things like Persona Ride going.
During your turn. So if that only works for that turn, and this is a normal unit, not a set.
It's a normal order.
Not a set order. So it's not like you play it and it's there for the turn or whatever.
Yeah, so you may need to play something to recycle orders. I believe they did add some cards that do that in this set. But yeah, other than like trying to keep up the magazine order and probably like finding soul, because I believe the rest of the ride line also soul blasts a bunch.
Yeah.
But I'm
saying like that's like a way of balancing instead of having it like Brandgate where it's made on set orders, and this isn't.
Yeah. No, actually, the grade 2 counterblast and the grade 1 is completely generic. So
there you go then.
Yeah. So like Kyoko just looks absolutely insane. Like it kind of looks to be on the same level as Kairi, where it's just like a really strong effect, and it's generic enough that you can just stuff whatever good cards are in this set into the deck, and it'll work.
Right on.
All right, now for easily like the weirdest one, but also kind of the coolest.
Great name.
First to head towards the dream, Michu. So she's a robot girl with cannons.
Yeah.
I like this already.
She's angry.
Yeah. So act if your order zone has all set in it. Counterblast 1, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, call it to rearguard circle, or discard it. Okay. And then Cannonball. So when this unit attacks a Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 2 and choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. And then this unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of that battle. And then it also is a glitter, just randomly.
But it's not part of Two Nations somehow?
Well, no. The partner cards are usually the Dual Nation cards, although they did not do that for Lyrical.
Interesting. Of course. That's always what they do for...
Which you think they would, considering this is all... Like, as we go over, like, all the cards for this, like, this just revolves around, like, set orders. So you would think that this would just be half Brandgate, but it isn't.
Very surprising.
So this one has... So the Cannonball, or all set, is a grade 1 set order. So act, if you have Vanguard with Michu in its name, you can rest the card, Soul Charge 1, choose up to 1 Cannonball card from your hand and put it in your order zone. And yes, we also have to look at the Cannonball orders. There's only one.
That's good, I guess.
Yep.
Oh, good. There's like yet another page I have to jump to.
Yep. And then you still have to click on the actual order.
I know. Why couldn't it just take me directly to the actual page? Flower Cannonball. Yeah, like you could have just taken me directly to Flower Cannonball instead of being weird about it.
Yeah. So Flower Cannonball is a grade 3 set order. So you play it with Counterblast 1. When it's put into the order zone, you draw a card. If you have a grade 3 or greater grade 3 or greater card with Michu in its card name, you can put the Cannonball into your drop zone and change all of your Vanguard's Cannonball abilities to, when this unit attacks, Soul Blast 2, choose 3 of your units and they get plus 10,000 power until end of turn. So instead of retiring and giving herself 5,000, you can instead give 3 of your units a bunch of power instead.
I kind of like this idea where you change an ability instead of like adding an ability, and it's tied to this one card that spends itself.
Yes.
Very interesting.
And again, I do believe there are some cards that can like retrieve orders from the drop zone.
Okay.
So, that is something this is another one where like because it's so different from everything else, I'm not entirely sure what to do with this card yet. I haven't done a whole lot of testing, but I really like the idea of this. It's really interesting. And then there is also a support card that goes with it, which I think is pretty far down the line with but it is one of the triple R's, so we'll get to it.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the lab girl with the link choker hair. Forgot her name.
Eva.
Ava. Yeah, where like you have these experiments that are kind of they're physical cards that you spend, a la the Flower Cannonball thing.
Yeah.
I just think
you don't spend the experiment cards; you just build them up to make Obscudide really big.
Oh, okay. So,
but yeah, I really like this one. Like firing cannonballs at your opponent is just cool.
That is
I think this is a really like unique and interesting idea. And once we see her like glitter pair card, we're gonna see like even more wacky stuff. But that's for later.
Okay, so we got adorable shooter Clinfelli. So this is a grade 2, 10k. When placed on rare from hand, if you have a Vanguard with Heseret in its card name, put a grade 2 or less from your hand into your soul. Look at top 7, choose up to one grade 3 with 12k power or less. Grade 2, choose a card with...
Choose up to one card with less power than standard, basically.
Okay, so a grade 3 with 12k power or less, a grade 2 with 9k power or less, so, grade 2 with less than standard, or a grade 1 card with 7k power or less. Call it to rare and shuffle your deck. If you didn't call, draw a card. So strange.
This is very strange. So, like, Hazaret's thing is just, like, putting things to the bottom of the deck and, like, gaining or being able to draw a card. And then, for some reason, they decided the best way to support this is to, like, make a grade 2 that searches for cards with lower than standard power.
Which is odd.
Yeah, this is just really odd. I don't understand it very much. Like, I like Hazaret herself as, like, a concept. I think it's really cool and has a lot of potential, but, like, I'm not really sure how this card capitalizes on that other than just, like, generic plussing.
I don't either.
Yeah, and also Hazaret doesn't like Soul Blast, so putting a grade 2 or less into your soul doesn't do anything, because you, like, not really needing the soul, and there's nothing that benefits from this. This is just really confusing as, like, a dedicated support card. Like, by name.
It does say up to 1, so, like, if you see one and you don't want it, just get the free draw. Which is nice, I guess. Odd that, like, if it wasn't specifically tied to Heseret, you could use this in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I could easily see it, like, you just cram this into, like, any premium Bermuda Triangle thing just to call whatever the hell you want that's, like,
I mean, the, like, lowered power is, like, a little bit awkward. It can be used to search for, like, older cards. But, yeah. This one just confuses me. Like, I don't know why this is what they went with, because that does not seem to be the theme for the... Actually, no, I think it might have been the theme for, like, the ride line.
Maybe. It is a triple R, so it's got to count for something.
Let's see. Grade 3 card from your hand, and then a grade 1 gets... no, actually, the ride line does not have anything to do with, like, lower powered units. Yeah, I have no idea why this card is the way it is.
I don't know what to tell you then. It's incredibly out of left field, especially as a triple R. So, moving on.
So we have Immense Aptitude Liray. So act Rearguard Circle once per turn, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your Vanguards, gets power plus 5,000. Then it has the powerful ability, oh boy. When it attacks a Vanguard, if your Soul has no cards, you can power plus 2, give it plus 10,000. And then if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Herminia, until end of battle, it performs a drive check.
I remember powerful being kind of a, like,
Herminia's thing is that, like, if you have no soul, and then for Herminia specifically, if you have no face-up damage, you can, like, discard a card and restand something with the powerful ability, and then you can reduce the next time you counterblast this turn by 1.
Okay. So this doesn't really help, does it? It just kind of gets in the way, seems like.
No, because, like, you need to have no, like, counterblast. Although this is when it attacks. God, powerful is so bad.
Kind of reminds me of, like, V-era Royal Paladin, where it's like, if you have no face-up damage, you can blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't really that. Like, the whole point of powerful is, like, dump all your resources. This is just awkward, because it's like, you have to have no face-up damage for Herminia to do her thing. Yeah, so it's at the end, like, her ability is at the end of the battle that she attacked. So, like, I don't know how you're going to be getting that extra... God, Herminia made no sense. But yeah, as far as powerful goes, this card is fine, right? Like, it dumps your counterblast to get Herminia's restand. And because you're doing a drive check, you can, like, make up for the card you have to discard to restand something.
Right.
So, as far as that goes, this card is fine. It's just, I think that powerful as a keyword is still just not very good.
In and of itself, it's like, you better make those effects matter. You know, none of this like, oh, 5k. You need crits, you need restands. Like,
I mean, this does restand,
but like everything. Like, they really got to go balls to the wall if the whole point is to spend everything. You know. But about Overflow Happiness Nostria, it's 10k, grade 2. So, when placed on rare, if you have a Vanguard with Letitia, look at top 3 cards, choose up to 1 card from among them, put it into your soul, put the rest on the bottom. And then auto on rare when it attacks, if your soul has 2 or more cursed play cards, it's plus 5k until end of that battle. If you have 4 or more plus cursed play cards, it gets plus 15k instead of plus 5.
I mean, this card is pretty good, right? Like, it's a way for you to, like, search out your orders and try to put them in your soul. You only look at top 3, which is a little, like, small. If it was like top 5, it might be more consistent, but you have 8 orders to choose from, so you have a decent chance of hitting with it. Otherwise, it's still a soul charge, and, like, one of the play orders calls something out from your soul, so it is still helpful in that way. And then, you know, just being like plus 5 or more likely plus 15 is just good. Like, I'll take a 25k beater in a deck that already has a restanding Vanguard.
Yeah. And then with a booster, you're hitting for 33. Nice, juicy numbers. Good stuff.
Yeah. No, this card is just good. I have lost track of where the heck we are. There we are.
It's okay. Yeah. So we're on Dearly Flowers.
Dearly Flowers Elise. Yes. So during the battle, this unit attack a grade 3 or greater Vanguard gets plus 5k. When it's placed on rearguard circle from the drop zone by the ability of your grade 3 or greater Mediel, it gets red text. At the end of the battle, your Vanguard attacks, Soul Blast 1, stand this unit until end of turn. So, you know, if you hit a normal unit, you just call this with a crit, and then it restands itself.
Dude. This is like, if they had this in Grand Blue, we'd all vomit.
Yeah, I mean, at least it has the cursed text, so it's not going to be huge when it's hitting you.
Right? I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't have, like, good answers for, like, the implications of all this, because a lot of it just looks the same to me. And for the people who are listening to this being like, I don't know much about Bermuda/Lyrical Monasterio,
no, I think
we're kindred spirits, you and I. So
yeah, but I mean, this card's just insane, right? Because, like, you call it with Mediel, if you have a normal unit, it gets a crit. If not, you still have the trigger on top, so you attack with it, you restand, and then, you know, you attack with your Vanguard, apply the trigger however you want, and then this just restands and there's another attack. Like, this is just really strong. And it only costs the Soul Blast, and I don't think Mediel Soul Blasts for anything so far, so like it's just good.
Good job. Yeah, and I like the art on this one. Very, very nice, varied colors, stuff like that. We didn't really talk about the art a lot on this show, but like it's Vanguard is very good at art for the most part.
Vanguard has nice art. It's just like all the fucking lyrical cards look the same, man.
Yeah, I mean, like now
I'm feeling it.
Blue Frontier Archie, and I know it's probably Arch, but Archie, so I'm just imagining like Archie and Reggie and Jughead and all that. Grade 2, 10k, continuous on rear during your turn. If you played a magazine, so if you remember that from earlier, order during this turn, she gets plus 5k, so there's a little bit of boost by itself. And then auto on rear, once per turn, at the end of the battle that your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacked. If you played a magazine, order this turn, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, stand this unit.
This is probably just going to be huge, right?
Yeah, this is...
The magazine gives 10k, she gets 5k on her own. Kyoka gives 5k to the front row. This is just going to be absolutely huge.
Yeah, this is like the equivalent of Archie going over to Veronica's house, and Veronica's dad's there, and he just makes an absolute fool of himself, and he's knocking over furniture and priceless jade eggs and shit because Veronica's rich or whatever. So just that, but as a card.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, this is also another reason why I think Kyoka is just going to be like crazy. She already gets like big, huge numbers, and the game is still slow enough that 3 attacks is fine. But like getting a 4th attack when your front row is like already plus 5k probably by default, you can give one of your units another 10k off the magazine, and then this gains even more power on its own. Like you're just gonna have a huge restand off of this.
Like Counterblast Soul Blast for a restand for some clans, like that's worth it.
Yeah.
No, I think what the format is.
Yeah, I think that's very worth it here. It's just like I think this was one of the reasons why Kyoka is Soul Blast heavy, because you're absolutely just playing 4 of this, and like the Counterblast Soul Blast means, you know, you're Soul Blasting like at least 2 probably if you're using Kyoka's ability. But yeah, this card is just really good. All right. So we have Boisterous High Tension Roxella.
Roxanne.
This is a friend card, so the friend ability, if you have something in the same column, that those 2 units become friends. And then when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have 3 or more other friends, it gets 5k until end of turn. If you have 5 or more, choose one of your rear guards with the friend ability, not in the same column as this unit, and you may return it to your hand.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is like it's another thing with the friend ability, so it's fine. But also, one of the problems with friends, if you are playing actual Fortia and not doing a hybrid with like Kyrie or possibly even Lilfa, because I've been thinking of that, then you know, this is a way to help Fortia because you need to commit a full board of friends in order for Fortia to be able to restand. So being able to like bounce cards back is a good way to like clear your board and help you not lose as many cards because this meta is full of removal. The only thing is that the bounce ability is very heavily restricted because you need to have 5 or more friends, and then you have to choose something that has the friend ability and is not just in the friend's state, and then it has to not be in the same column as well. So this is like extremely heavily restricted on what you can actually return to your hand. And it also makes it because there is a grade 3 that like you can Soul Blast 1 at the end of battle. If you have 3 or more other friends, she can return herself to the hand. Like this doesn't synergize with that because then you don't have like 5 friends anymore. Or you like bounce it back and then like you can't really do the other one. Or you have to like bounce back the card behind it and then you're not really getting the benefit from that.
Yeah, that is
it's like
awkward.
Really awkward how you would have to like bounce things. So I wish
probably just for balancing, right? Just so you can't bounce
like
itself.
So you can't. I mean, like needing 5 or more things with the friend or 5 or more other friends is already a big restriction. Specifically, something with the friend ability is also a restriction. Like I just don't see how you can easily loop this card.
I think that like enough things have been looped before that I don't think they're taking any chances.
But yeah, like this. I like this card in theory because it can do things that friends want, which is like protecting the board. but like because of how heavy the restrictions is, you can't actually do it as effectively as I would want to with the current metagame.
Right.
So like the friend keyword is still good because it just kind of synergizes with things like Lilfa and Kyrie. I think Fortia is still like the worst boss unit for the friend archetype, which is ironic because she's the intended one. But yeah, that is the state of friends. Like I think you can do like a full friend hybrid deck with Kyrie. It's a little like awkward with this, but you can make it work.
Good enough for me, I guess. The funnily enough named Cooling Heart Yuika.
Yuika.
Okay. AK grade 1. So auto on rear once per turn when your other unit in the same column as this unit is placed. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets plus 5k.
If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it's the curse text.
Frick, I keep forgetting about the curse thing. Your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3. Fuck. Okay. And then auto on rear. At the end of battle that this unit boosted a rear guard, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your boosted rear guards and return it to hand.
I mean, this is just like a generic bounce to hand card. I was testing it out in Kyrie just because I'm interested in like trying to give Kyrie more attacks on like grade 3, but still being able to bounce things to your hand afterwards, so you can like make your aggression but still protect the board.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's the greatest play in the universe, just because like it is very soul intensive in that deck. Like grade 3 Kyrie has the Soul Blast for her ability. And then you're not doing too much after that, so you can kind of play with this. But yeah, so far in my testing, this card hasn't really added anything, but I do think it's an interesting one. And again, I'll just always take cards that like bounce things to your hand. Being a grade 1 also means it doesn't really synergize well with Lilfa because she wants like grade 2 or greater rear guards. So I think like Lilfa as a deck just does not play grade 1s that don't have the Sentinel text on them.
Right. I think this is one of those cards where, like, pick up a playset and just sit on it, because eventually something mermaid-shaped will make use of it.
Now, I think you can just play it as, like, a way to protect your board. Like, the meta is very removal-heavy, so just, like, I know this rear guard is important, and I want to keep it, so I'm just going to bounce it back to my hand to protect it.
Yeah, it's nice that the bouncing isn't tied to the curse text. It's just the 5k part.
Which... You know, I think once you go for your like big plays where your opponent is also at grade 3, like just being a 13k booster is like fine. I think the bouncing to hand is the more important one, just because like I think Lyrical, aside from like the little android girl, does not have a lot of removal itself. So barring that, you just kind of have to go for protection.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I might be overvaluing the protection, but like I like it for that, and I want to experiment with it in some builds. But you know, it really just comes down to like whether or not you value being able to protect certain rear guards. And in the case of something like Mediel, it might actually just be better off like letting it get retired.
Yeah, simple. I think simple is good and stuff like this. Like, no reason to agonize over it.
Yep. And now for the funny card.
Oh, here we go.
So, Shy Singing Voice Nokuno. So, this is a grade 1 8k. It is the glitter partner for Michu, but it is not dual clan. Put Brantgate on this card, you cowards.
Just let him have it. What's the problem?
So, when a card is put into your order zone, if you do not have a unit with her name, Soul Blast 1, call it to rear in your back row rearguard circle. If there are 2 copies, you can only call the 1. So, basically Maple, but it costs something.
Okay.
And then, you know, Glitter with Michu. So, back row center, at the end of the battle your Vanguard attacked, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can counterblast 1 and discard a card, stand this unit, and then swap position with your Vanguard. At the end of the turn, you swap the positions back.
That's interesting.
So this is really funny, because that means Michu is technically like a restander.
Yeah. And it says your soul does not change, so it like
this just becomes your Vanguard for a battle.
Yeah.
Unless your opponent is... So if you're playing like Greedon with like the retire combo, they can't actually get rid of the Michu, and then you're just stuck with a grade 1.
That's really funny. Oh my god.
That's like very unlikely to happen. I think No, because the cannonball is on attack, so you can't like retire it and also get the. Actually, no, you can retire it and still get the restand. It's just that Michu won't gain any power. That's really funny. Also, because you're like swapping positions, you can like put triggers on this and then like restand it with the trigger effects,
and then swap it.
Yeah,
that's nice. This is definitely the most unique restander I think we've seen ever.
Yeah, this is like, this is just part of why I think Michu is like super cool. Like, I really like the cannonball thing, like being able to choose between like making Michu herself stronger or making the rest of your units bigger. So one of the reasons for the plus 10k would be giving this more power, so when it swings, it's 18k. Yeah. And then you just have like an 18k rear guard swinging for one drive, which is about equal to every other restander.
Yeah, I mean, like, you do only drop the one card, so it's about
all the V restanders aside from Dote only discard one.
Yeah, like some restanders will be like drop 2, restand, drive -1.
Yeah, only Dote says that in D.
Okay.
The rest of them have like the drive 1, but they only discard 1.
So there you go. That's about equivalent then.
Yeah, no, like I said, like if you give it the 10k power and it's like 18k with one drive, that is equivalent to like most of the other restanders.
I just imagine. So remember, because this is movement and not like riding specifically, things like crits transfer over.
Yep.
So keep that in mind.
If your opponent PGs your Michu, you put a crit trigger on this, you just have a restanding Vanguard with a crit.
There you go. All right. Approaching summer at TA. I'm guessing the J is silent. But grade 2, 10k. When placed on rear by the ability of your grade 3 or greater Vanguard, loving that generic. This unit gets plus 5k till end of turn. Loving that generic less, but whatever. And then auto on rear, when your other rear guard is returned to your hand by your Vanguard's ability, choose one of your Vanguards, it gets plus 5k. This is a double R?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
fine.
This is like funny in Kyrie just because like Kyrie already gives things 10k or 5k when you call them, so this is basically just like 10k and then or plus 10k, and then like giving your Vanguard 5k when your other rear guard is returned to the hand is like not terrible. Like Kyrie herself tends to be very small, so if you can make, especially because the grade 4 doesn't have Persona Ride, so like just making your Vanguard bigger is fine. I mean, you can kind of use it with Lilfa. I think Lilfa can't call her, so it doesn't take advantage of her very well. Like, I wish this was a grade 3, just so it worked with both. It seems a little weird that they would make a double R that's based on, like, being called from the hand. Or, actually, you can also use it with Mediel, because it calls from drop, but that's not as good, because it doesn't get the bounce benefit. But yeah, like, the second one where, like, if something is returned to your hand by your Vanguard's ability, you would think would be something for Lilfa, but then it's a grade 2, so you can't actually call it off of her ability. So you're never going to get the first one where she gets 5k herself. Since really, this is Kyrie support.
Ever since Matt pointed out that like most of the stuff in D makes a point of plus 5k somewhere, I can't unsee it.
Yeah, no, that just... I mean, old Vanguard did that too, where everything gets like plus 2 or plus 3.
Yeah.
So this is just like the power boosted equivalent of that, really.
Yeah. For a second, I was like, why is she just like a janitor? Then I realized she's cleaning a pool. That makes a lot more sense. Okay.
See, she's Kyrie support. She's cleaning Kyrie's pool.
Just fine. Fine. Just, you got it.
All right. Now for another card that I was really interested in. So favorite one, Flurity. So she's a grade 2. When your other rear guard is returned to your hand by your grade 3 or greater Vanguard's ability, you can counterblast 1, put this unit into Soul, draw a card, choose up to 1 grade 3 from your hand, and call it to an open rear guard circle.
Okay, even I know this is interesting. This is...
Yeah. So I was primarily interested in this for like Kyrie, because it gives the grade 3 Kyrie a 4th attack. So grade 3 Kyrie had a rear guard that could like call something, but it was tied to her name specifically, so you couldn't use it with the grade 4. Okay. So this is a way for you to like give grade 3 Kyrie more attacks, because like you bounce stuff to your hand with this, and then you can like put this into your soul, and then call another card, so you can keep making more aggression while you're on grade 3. And even if you're on the grade 4, like there might be some instances where you might want to strategically like bounce a back row and the front row, you know, call them back, and then you like stuff this, call something else from your hand, so your columns are just bigger overall. That like extra boost might help you get over the hump and like win a game.
Mm-hmm. Does this have a application in premium? Because it seems like it does.
I would have to think about that more, but maybe, because like Anjay already just returns like as much as you possibly can, because you need to return 4 to get like the force marker and the search.
Right.
So most likely you're going to have your whole board bounced.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you would have to like play. You would have to have 5 rear guards on the board, bounce 4 with Anjay, and then put this into your soul. And for an extra attack, when Anjay already searches out a restander, most likely, this seems like it's too resource intensive, and you have to like set it up.
Okay.
And then for Heltrauda, you just return your whole board, so this can't even trigger because you can't put it in your soul.
Ah, never mind that. Still neat effect though. Yeah. Let's see. Large flower that dies the night. DYE, not like, perishes. Grade 2, 9k. This better be good. When this card is discarded from hand during your turn, you may put it in soul. So, pretty
okay, so we just put, oh god, what was the name of that, like, Dragon Empire card that does the exact same thing?
What's it? Togedarashi or something like that? 7k? Yeah.
Yeah, Togedarashi. We just printed that in Lyrical as a grade 2.
Yeah. Not much to say. Keep moving.
I mean, I guess this is nice for, like, neat things that need soul and, like, discard cards.
Mm-hmm.
Which, actually, Michu, because she has the Soul Blast 2 for both of her Cannonball abilities, so that might actually find an application there.
It's always awkward having cards where their exact job is to be, pardon the pun here, cannon fodder for things like that, where they have zero other application otherwise.
I mean, Overlord has a promo whose only job is to be discarded for Dote, and I'm pretty sure that his card is single-handedly making Dote somewhat meta-relevant.
Yeah, I mean, also you run Togedarashi in Overlord.
No, not in the Japanese builds, because the promo is just better.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it just. I'm not saying it's bad. It just feels odd. That's it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just one of those this exists for a very specific purpose.
Mm-hmm. It's got some Logan's Run vibes, right?
Yeah.
So
next we have
to die.
Mm-hmm. Endless Summer Tatum. So it's a grade 1 8k. If your damage zone has a face-up order card, Soul Blast 1, put a unit card from your hand into your damage zone, and then take an order card from your damage and put it in. So basically, you can swap out an order from your damage. So this card seems to exist just to fix a problem that a deck might have, where since you have decks like the magazines and the curse plays, or even if you're going all the way back to song orders and gems, so if you just have one of your very important orders stuck in the damage zone, this can help swap it out for you.
I mean, nothing wrong with doing that and then dressing up as a gigolo and going out and grossing way too much in theaters. So,
but yeah, this card exists to fulfill a specific purpose. I feel because whether or not you damage an order is so random, this probably won't make it in just because there's no consistency with it, but it's there to be an option.
I feel like if it's there, it's in a deck where there's some decks where you just have the grade 2 or the grade 1 lineup just aren't super important. Mm-hmm. So you just throw this in there as a 2 of, you're
yeah.
Man,
yeah, whatever. This just seems like a tech for if you just find that you're naturally unlucky and damage all of your orders, then this card exists to fix that.
Yeah.
So if you're Matt,
or all three of us, we're on the whole pretty unlucky people when it comes to stuff like this. Yeah. But Matt's the poster child. All right, Shutter Chance Ilsa. So grade 1, 8K. When the attack this unit boosted hits a Vanguard, if all SETI is in your order zone, look at
All set.
Is that? Oh, that's an exclamation point. I thought that was just the letter I.
All SETI.
All SETI. All set. Sounds like something Ned Flanders would say. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 glitter or set order. From among them, reveal, put it into your hand, and shuffle. If you reveal the card, put this unit on the bottom of your deck.
It is an on-hit, so that's a thing. But like, yeah, this is fine. It just like searches out what you want for the glitter deck.
Well, now I gotta look up all SETI because
yeah, that's the one that
that
sets up your cannonball orders.
Yeah, that's funny that it kind of sort of looks like a camera lens. Keep it moving.
Yeah. So sweltering heat, Lucretia.
I don't know. I feel her pain. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Act Soul Blast 1. Look at the top card of your deck. This is just an OTT card, but like worse.
Who is this for? Okay.
See, this doesn't even let you put it on top or bottom, so it's just not used to like set up Mediel or anything. It's just Soul Blast 1. Look at your top. We have a card that already does this when you boost, and that actually does let you put it to the bottom.
I mean, that's fine. And this is a double R. Like, imagine, like, you go, you buy a pack just for shits and giggles.
We have commons in Oracle Think Tank that do, like, more than this.
Yeah, but...
Hexaorb has cards that do more than this for the same cost.
Whatever, man. Somebody drew, like, perspective and colored this in for this effect. And this is a double R.
At least let you put it on the top or bottom. Like, you're just paying a Soul Blast to look at the top of your deck.
Yeah. I think if they were going to have it be, like, look and do top or bottom, it would be they'd have to do once per turn, and they can't do that for whatever reason. Not sure why, but... I just imagine you do it, and then you go, wait, I forgot what it was. Soul Blast again. Look again.
See, Globe Magus just lets you do this for free.
Yeah.
When am I gonna get a V Globe Magus Bushiroad?
I'm surprised. Have Rupee read the reveals next time. One of them will be V Globe Magus.
Please, we're finally getting Cubic Magus in October, so I have to think about cool. V Magus again.
Yes, you'll have to. Meddlesome Wellness Committee Phyllis. Grade 1, 8K. So act on rear. Soul Blast 2. Choose one of your grade 3 or greater vanguards with Megiel in its card name. Until end of turn, it gets 5K. And the cost of its original that unit's original act ability becomes Counterblast 1. And then also auto on rear when your other unit is placed on rear from drop. This unit gets plus 5K until end of turn, and that's not once per turn. That's second.
Take a shot.
Drink! What, for this to be easily abused? Or...
no, for saying plus 5,000.
Oh, right. God damn. It's not the same without him here, you know?
This card is really funny, because in Premium, it changes all act ability costs. Which means if any stride with like a weird overpriced act ability can just become Counterblast 1.
That's incredibly interesting. I could just see a deck where you like go get.
People have already thought of. There's one Cho-Cho card that's like Soul Blast 5, return like 5 rear guard. No, there's like Soul Blast 3, return like 5 of your rear guards. And then it gets like 20,000 a crit, and you can draw 3 cards. So you can turn all of that into one Counterblast.
That's really funny. Holy shit!
I'm trying to find the exact ability.
That's so amazing. That's the kind of thing where like when someone pulls it off, and it's like, you know what, you earned it.
Yeah. Wait.
Kick my ass. That's
wait. Is it like not a Cho-Cho stride? Because it's not in the Cho-Cho list.
Comment section if you want to fill that in for us, please. Because
I know what the card is.
I don't. So this is for me when I come back later.
Yeah. No, I need to go find this card now.
Okay. Do you want me to just read the next one while you're doing this?
Yes.
All right. Quiet Ambush Musta. It's a 8K, grade 1. Powerful. Here we go. When this unit boosted rate 3 or greater, Vanguard with Herminia in the card name. If you have no cards in Soul, and all of your front row units get plus 2k until end of turn. Then at the end of the battle, put this unit on bottom of your deck and countercharge 1.
Mm-hmm.
So gives you a CC.
Yeah. Okay, so this is how you can actually like counterblast after you like do stuff with Herminia.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm still trying to find this stride. Like everyone was talking about this.
Do you just is there a Bermuda Discord that you stole from?
Like Different Fight was posting about this because this is one of those like we're just gonna pause this for podcast for a bit while I find this card.
Magic of editing. Fine.
Yeah.
Go find it.
Chocho Lively Icon Ilya.
Lively Icon Ilya.
Yep, so that one has an act. You can Soul Blast 1, choose 5 of your rear guards with Chocho in their card name, put them bottom of the deck, draw 3 cards, it gets 20,000 and a crit. So you can change. So since the like Soul Blast 1 and Return 5 is all the cost of the act, you can just change that all to Counterblast 1. So it just becomes Counterblast 1, draw 3, power plus 20,000, crit plus 1. I don't think it's particularly spicy, just because like yes, you plus a lot, but Bermuda could already like draw 3 cards just because it wanted to, and like
PGB.
plus 20 crit. Yeah, and then like plus 20k and a crit like doesn't do that much, but it is funny that you can do that.
It is funny, and also this leaves the door open for like any act ability in the future.
Yeah, to just be like broken.
Yeah. All right, your turn.
Okay, favor to you, Lydia. So, when it boosts a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with 40 in its name, you can Soul Blast 2, choose one of your Vanguards, it gets on hit countercharge 1. Or when it hits a Vanguard, countercharge 1. Does not have the friend ability, by the way.
Ugh. Guys, you're killing me.
Yeah. One thing about the friend archetype is that I believe there's only one actual grade 1 with the friend keyword on it.
Okay. So how is that supposed to work exactly?
Well, as long as it's in the same unit as another friend card. Oh no, there are 3. Okay, so I was wrong. There are 3 cards with the friend ability on them. Just one of them is a promo.
Oh, okay.
And then one of them is from the ride line, obviously. I should have remembered that one. So yeah, there are technically 3 grade 1s with the friend ability, just only one of them is like good.
So
there are so many double R's in this set. Holy shit.
There are so many everything in this set. We've been at this for like an hour, and there's 2 of us. There's not 3 of us weighing in on these. All right. Mystica Pellucid, Jennifer. Grade 1, 8k. If you have 4 more units, act on rear. If you have 4 more units, discard a card from your hand, choose a normal order from your drop, and it gets continuous. This card can be played from the drop, and when it would be played, be put into your drop after being played, put it on the bottom of your deck instead.
Okay, so this was the card I was thinking of that recycled normal orders.
Yeah, that's cool, though.
Yeah, this is really cool. So this is a way for like all of the various order-based cards to recycle their orders. So again, this is a question of like, is that space to like recycle the orders worth it compared to just like playing through the deck and like going through it normally? So again, it's just a question of like, how quickly do you run through your orders? Do you feel like you need the recycle?
Do you?
I mean, it depends, right? For Lutetia, where all the orders go into Soul, you can like bypass the cost of putting it to the bottom of your deck. So if let's say you had like Soul Blasted one of your, let's say you like don't have an order in your hand, so you choose to like Soul Blast one of your orders, and then you play this, so you can put the order back.
Yeah,
like that's something you could do. I don't necessarily know like why you wanted to do. Oh, well, I guess when you play a normal order this turn, it gets like the plus 5k. So yeah, you know, if you just wanted that like extra power, you can like Soul Blast one of your orders and then play it, put it back, and kind of bypass the restriction of putting it to the bottom of your deck. Obviously, things like the cannonballs where you have to spend the orders, this is a way to recycle them.
Yeah.
So this is nice for just being like something that goes in any order-based strategy where if you feel like you need the recycle for whatever reason, you can get it. It does require you to discard something from your hand, so it is like in practice, it would be the same as if you had played the order from your hand in terms of like hand advantage. Although in those cases, you are probably losing some shield value for it.
Yeah,
but that's just like tactical trade-off. Like, would playing this extra order from the drop zone help me win the game?
So it's like something that requires strategy. It's like it's well designed, I think.
Yeah, no, this is a really cool card. I like it.
Yeah. Any colored bubbles, Sharon. Grade 1, 6K. This better be good. Auto on rare. When this unit boosts the rear guard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Heseret in its card name, gets plus 5K until end of battle. Then at the end of the battle, you could Soul Blast 1. What? Oh, right. Plus 5K till end of battle. Then at the end of the battle, Soul Blast 1, choose your back row, middle rear guard, and move it to an open front row rear guard.
Okay, so let's see if you have a grade 3. So this is a way for Hazaret to get extra attacks.
Yes.
And it's like a search target for the grade 2. So we have a target. We have something with like less power that's like very worth running.
Yes. Okay. Then good.
Again, like this is the kind of shenanigans where like swapping positions and like getting more draws is like cool. I like Hazaret. I want to play like Bunny Girl Spike Brothers.
Go for it.
I wish she was actually like sports themed, so we could actually have like a football idol. Come on, Bushiroad. This is so easy.
This is easy.
So Crystal Clear Sparkle Aura. It's a grade 1 with 6K. So more search targets, I suppose. When the attack this unit boosted hit, retire it, search your deck for any one order card, reveal it, put it into your hand. So it does have to hit, but it searches out any order, and it can sort of synergize with the other grade 1 we just saw that recycles orders, where like you put it back to the bottom of the deck, and then if this somehow manages to hit something, I guess you could swing into a rear guard too. You can search the order back out. So that's cool.
That is nice.
Like synergy. But yeah, this card is like fine. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this one doesn't need to be 6K. And it doesn't particularly synergize with anything like Hazaret's doing, so I don't. This feels like they just put less power on it just to put less power on it.
Probably. I also feel bad. So she's sitting on the side of a boat. She's got her phone there. I assume the boat is going at like a decent clip. That phone's getting launched into the ocean if she doesn't keep a hand on it.
She's not on a boat. She's just like sitting on like a pool or something like that.
Is it? I mean, because like you see, what is that? A whale and a bird.
Those are just birds flying by.
Like it just looks like
all birds.
Okay, I don't know. It just looks like she's.
No, it looks like she's sitting on a ledge, like poolside or something.
Yeah. Or that whale is gonna come and steal the phone. In the top right, whatever. Cannot win. So I think the next two, it's like
those are just the heal triggers.
Yeah. So the two of us rhyme, two of us flow. So same thing as all the other clans where.
Yeah, one gets like 15k shield if you increase the critical by a non-trigger effect, and the other one is if the attacking unit has attacked 2 or more times, gets plus 15k. People have been teching in the 2 crit one because of things like Eva and Buff Sagra, but I haven't seen a whole lot of people going for the restanding one. I feel like too many decks have ways to make extra attacks that don't actually involve restanding.
Yeah, it's usually like unit calling that end up being...
The only thing is like certain restanding vanguards, but like either the restanding vanguard is so powerful that this doesn't matter, or they're like not good enough for it to matter.
Yeah. So once again, this is just like a meta call, right? Pick up your playset, sit on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna read another one since that kind of doesn't count.
Oh, the next one is the magazine that we already talked about. And that one is Anathema, which I also talked about already.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it then.
Yep. And
so
then
any other like, commons rares or
I don't really want to go in and like read all of the ride lines, even though like we probably could, but I'm not going to.
Don't bother. This set's really long.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like Spike Row bunnies are off to a good start.
No, I think all of these archetypes are like really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard for me to rank the. I think, like, just from looking at all of the tools she has that has available and what it does just on its face, Kyoka is the most obviously good. Because you have a lot of plussing off of her Soul Blast 1, and then the magazine gives you like a whole bunch of like power and card advantage. And Kyoka herself gives you like so much power. Mediel is interesting because she has like the restander that can restand with a crit. Like that can be very strong if played correctly. I think your opponent has to be a grade 3 though for that to do something. No, it just has to be placed by a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, so yeah, you can just like give it a crit and have it restand. So I think Mediel has a very strong rear guard. Kyoka has a lot of really strong stuff. Hazaret is interesting. Like having the card that switches positions means that you have ways to make extra attacks and gain that advantage. And again, if you were to combine it with cards that naturally go into the deck themselves and gain benefits from it, so like the ghost cards can do that. I think there are some like commons and rares that like synergize with her. Like that's really good. Overall, I just think all of these cards are really well designed. They're like just generic enough that you can like scale them with future support. That I don't think any of them really need like hyper specific support, except for maybe like Lutetia because she needs like the cursed plays, right?
Right.
And like Michu as well. Like if they were to make more cannonballs for her, obviously that would be better. But like you can kind of build a good stuff deck around her. Like she and her like glitter pairing kind of like work on their own, and then you build the rest of the deck around it. And that's just kind of the thing with all of them. So I think this set is much stronger than like the first couple of lyrical sets where they had these really weird, like hyper specific gimmicks where if you're not directly supporting them, you're like not really doing anything. Like Felty Rosa, I don't think there are a whole lot of ghost cards in this set, so she just gets nothing other than the fact that you now have a ghost PG, which is okay. Willista, everything revolves around her 2 specific gem orders, so if you're not making things that can support those gem orders, not doing anything. Let's see, what else is there from set? But, Alestiel, she needs, like, the black and white wing cards. Like, you're probably better off playing, like, black and white wing cards for her, rather than trying to make a generic deck, because then why are you playing Alestiel at that point? So, I think this set is just much better designed overall, being like fairly generic for most of them. I think like they can just scale with future support, or you can build like hybrids with things like the friend cards, which I think the friend keyword and mechanic is pretty generic. It's just that like Fortia herself happens to be a very weak boss card for them, which kind of sucks for her, but at the same time, like at least the rest of her cards are seeing play.
Yeah, that's something.
And I do like hybridizing like the friend stuff with the bouncing to hand stuff. It gives me like G era Harmony vibes before Harmony became just the most broken thing.
Yeah. So, did you have anything else you wanted to say about the set?
No, I don't think so. Like, I really like the set. I think like the cards are really well designed. They're all pretty strong. There are a lot of really interesting support, and I am in that unfortunate position where like all of them kind of interest me. So that means I'm just building like every lyrical deck again.
And it begins. Yeah.
Like I was going to do that for the first lyrical set too, just for like shits and giggles. But like I came away from that one only having like a couple of them and not really playing them all that much. And then set 2, like I have everything for Fortia. It's just bad, and same thing for like powerful. And long term, neither of those interest me particularly much. I feel like I would stick around for most of these for like future support.
Right on.
I am most interested in Hasaret, like weirdly enough. I just like the idea of like Bunny Girl Spike Brothers, and I hope we get more cards for her.
I'm sure there's like it seems like a forward enough mechanic where
Mhm.
supporting it directly or indirectly is pretty easy.
Yeah, like as long as since we already have that grade 1 that's like swaps position, that addresses the issue of like how do you win games. So at that point, it's just like good stuff pile.
Yeah, plus like with her effect, it makes it hit 8K, and then that's like kind of
Mhm.
numbers, and you can work with that.
Yep.
So comment section, what do you think? At Nexus, or like what deck are you going to build? What do you think want the set? All that good stuff. At Nexus at Night on Twitter, Instagram, or just sound off in the comments. Leave a like, tell a friend, subscribe, helps the channel. Patreon.com/Nexus at Night. You get a whole ass bonus show every week with the three of us, sometimes with a guest. Merch, playmats, that's all in the description /show notes. You can find Matt on Twitter at Wiggums. 2 G's, 2 Z's. Yeah. Doesn't
You can
sound
find
right,
me.
but it's not him.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Find me at Atlas Novak on Twitter, Instagram, or you can follow my other podcast at Generation Dan on Twitter or at Generation_Dan on Instagram. Both of these come out on the same day now, so both Nexus at Night and Generation Dan come out on Thursdays. Go find it if you are like a huge Atlas Novak fan, and I'm sure to have the other two on the show at some point, because it's always a good time, because we've had Dino, my co-host, on Tangents before, and it was fun. So, yeah, thanks everybody for listening, and until next time, I was Atlas. I'm Matt.
And I'm Root Beer.
And have a good
because
night,
I've been like looking over at this while also having to like occasionally look back on the screen.
Oof, I'm sorry. And have a good night.